An Action News investigation tonight is raising some disturbing questions about the American military, even as more than 3,100 American soldiers have fallen in Iraq.
Now, here's the issue. Did the Marines select an inferior new military vehicle because it was being pushed by a retired colonel? Chief Investigative Reporter Steve Wilson first reported this earlier tonight, and he's back with us now with more. Steve?
Good evening, Diana. Stephen, they said cost was not the primary concern. They wanted the best and the safest new design for a vehicle small enough to be flown inside the new Osprey helicopter deep inside enemy territory. And here's what they chose. At a cost of more than $120,000 a copy, a vehicle called the Growler, originally designed with no doors, no top, and no armor. And more than 2 years now after the contract was awarded to a company headed by retired Marine Colonel Terry Crews, it still cannot meet all of the requirements the Marines were demanding when they rejected this vehicle designed by a team of independent Detroit automakers. The locals had never before been involved in the military procurement process, and they say they had no clue the deck may have been stacked against them from the start.
Had I known that there was a relationship or a friendship, we would have never participated against a competitor that's friends of the general.
Why not? You built a better vehicle, you say.
At that point, it doesn't matter, I'm told. Safety, survivability, any attributes that you bring to your system are overlooked.
It's who you know, not what you build.
It appears that way.
And our investigation confirms his suspicions. The use of cover and concealment are the crew's primary means of survival, said the Marines when they set forth the specifications for the vehicle they wanted. And while the Detroit vehicle was designed with doors, solid ones that could be made bulletproof, remember, the retired colonel's vehicle had no doors at all, and as we said, no top and no armor. In fact, as originally designed, a soldier was to man a machine gun in plain view on a platform in the back. The lack of cover is not something that disturbs the manager of the colonel's plant where the Growler is built, or even the colonel himself.
So you're not afraid that the guys in here are going to get shot at or whatever?
They probably will. Shoot back. That's the thing. You shoot back.
At Marine headquarters here in Quantico, Virginia, the project manager stands by the colonel's model and says Marines will be lucky to have it.
They're at greater risk than if they were in an armored vehicle, but they are at far greater survivability than if they were on foot.
Well, which is
the alternative.
Wouldn't more cover and concealment be better?
Yes, and we are working armoring for this now.
But wait, what about the Detroit model the Marine Command rejected? Its final report card from Marine evaluators not only sang praises of its strengths in virtually every respect, it concluded there were no serious weaknesses.
They didn't even have a variant that would fit within the V-22 and carry the appropriate amount of ammo in the mortar.
He knows better than that, and a day later conceded the Detroit design could fit inside the V-22 Osprey helicopter with all it needed to head into enemy territory. In fact, military documents we've obtained confirmed it not only fit, it fit with far more firepower than the colonel's model could carry. Rollover protection with a built-in cage was also a feature of the Detroit model. And though it may not seem as sturdy and safe, the Marines say the colonel's model they bought.
And the roll cage meets all federal motor vehicle safety standards. It's been tested.
Has it passed?
It has rollover. Yes, it has.
No, it hasn't. Garner now admits he misspoke. The Marines also require the vehicle be capable of being hoisted and carried while slung under a helicopter. But here's the technical evaluation that the colonel's model fails to meet the requirement, while the Detroit model, it was judged to be a system well-designed, a solid design approach, evaluators said. 2 years later, the colonel's vehicle has still not been certified to meet the requirement.
You've worked with it for 2 or 3 years. You've poured more money into it. But why in the world did we have to go through all that when there was another vehicle that met requirement after requirement after requirement better than this thing did?
I don't know that that's a true statement.
Do you
either.
know that it's a false
There are
statement?
requirements that this one met that the other one didn't meet.
The most important requirement was called overall technical capability. And while the Detroit design was found to substantially exceed requirements, the colonel's vehicle merely met the requirements for a lower rating.
The requirements in the technical part are one small piece of it. Mutuality was a factor.
Mutuality means a system with common parts, but the colonel's vehicle is built with a Brazilian engine and a French mortar that uses only special ammo. So if the French ever show up to fight with us,
We're in good shape. Or if the Japanese show up, we're in good shape. I think the Belgians also are in there.
but if the U.S. Army shows up, we're out of luck.
We're out of luck.
The Marines insist the French mortar is better, more accurate, more lethal, and it can hit an enemy 5 miles away with precision. But the mortar cannot hit anything closer than 0.8 of a mile from our soldiers. So if the enemy gets any closer than that, the French mortar is essentially useless. Bottom line now. Are you confident at the time the decision was made that the vehicle that the military selected provided the best value and the best safety?
I am absolutely convinced it provided the best value. I do not have the technical information to make an analysis on safety, but I can say that the vehicle that we are going to field will provide the best safety we can field and will meet all safety requirements that it is expected to meet.
I made a fool of myself walking around here showing you the vehicles. You son of a bitch, you get off property right now.
Okay, sir.
You lying mother.
Okay, you have my card.
Your car. I'll tell you what we can do with your car.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do that with me next. As you can see there, the colonel blew a gasket when he found out who I was, and you can see more of that whole scene on our website at WXYZ.com. We posted it all there. But meanwhile, as you heard, the Pentagon appears committed to working as long as it takes and spending as much as it costs to get the colonel's vehicle to do what the rejected Detroit model was built to do and did do 2 years ago.
And just to be clear, the Detroit car exceeds all specifications, while the other car does not.
Absolutely, but they didn't know the general.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.